Hello, YouTube friends. It is Sunday, and today we are going to have stuffed green bell peppers. These are so yummy. So, in order to make these, you're going to need 4 green bell peppers. You're going to need a pound of hamburger meat. You're going to need some shredded cheese, and I just have sharp cheddar there. You're going to need 4 slices of cheddar cheese, and I have 4 slices of the sharp cheddar cheese. You are going to need a half a teaspoon of oregano. You're going to need, let's see, a fourth a teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of pepper. You're going to need a jar of your favorite spaghetti sauce or marinara sauce. My choice is the Ragu Traditional. So that's what I'll be using. Then you're going to need 1 cup of cooked rice. And you can use just regular white rice, but I actually like to use the Nor's Spanish rice. So I make that in this pot on the stove before I start putting my peppers together. I go ahead and make that first, and then I just set aside a cup of that for the hamburger mixture. And then you're going to need 1 onion. I believe that is it. Let's see. Yes, that is it. So that's all you're going to need. And then I'm going to make some fried potatoes on the stove. And I am going to make this creamy garlic shells on the side. So that's going to be my 2 sides for the peppers. So that's what you need. I'm going to get this all together. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and start the rice. And while I'm doing the rice, I'm going to show you how to prep the peppers before you go to cook them. You can make these all different ways. You can make them in the pressure cooker. You can make them in the crock pot. You can bake them in the stove. I'm going to bake mine in the stove. And I like mine to be tender. So I'm going to show you how to prep the peppers before you go to put them together and everything. Get them ready to put in the oven and everything. I'm going to show you how to prep them beforehand and where they will be tender and stuff. So we will be back here in just a few moments. Okay, wanted to show you what I do. What I did is I cut off the tops of the peppers, and I'm only making 2 tonight. I'm going to go ahead and make the hamburger mixture and stuff for all 4. But I'm only going to actually make 2 peppers tonight because I'll have 2 tomorrow night, and I'll make those fresh. So what I did is I cut the tops off of my peppers, and you save the tops, and you chop those to put in your hamburger mixture. So, if you like a lot, and you make the whole 4 at one time, then I would go ahead and put all 4 of the tops in there. It just depends on, how much you like or whatever. But I'm good to go with just only having the 2 tops in there. Because like I said, I'm going to make the whole hamburger mixture tonight. And so it's just going to have those 2 tops in there. But if I was going to make all 4, I would have just went ahead and chopped all 4 and put it in there. So you do that, and then you clean your peppers out real good because there's like seeds and stuff in there. You want to take all that out and make sure that they're good and clean on the inside. Then you take a pan, you fill it with water, and you put your peppers in there, and you cover it. So I'm getting ready to cover this pan. And you put it on high heat and let it come to a rolling boil. And once it comes to a rolling boil, then you turn it down to a medium-low heat, still covered, and let it boil for 3 minutes. And then after that, then your peppers are good and tender, and then you can start putting them together and putting the mixture in there. So I just wanted to show you what I did there. And you want to be careful because on one of these, the smaller one, I actually, when I was cleaning it out, I kind of tore the side. So I'm going to have to be really careful when I go to stuffing it and stuff, because chances are when I go to cook it and stuff, some of that stuff is going to ooze out. So what I may do is put some aluminum around, or some foil around it, so it doesn't ooze all out into the pan and everything. But I'll show you more when these get done boiling, and show you how to put all the mixture together and how to put these together and get ready to bake them in the oven. Okay guys, the ground beef is cooking, and what I did is I put a pound of ground beef in there. I put the onions and the tops of those bell peppers, and then I put the seasonings. And again, that was a quarter a teaspoon of garlic powder, but I went ahead and just put a half a teaspoon because everything else was a half a teaspoon as well, and I like garlic powder. So, just depending on what you like, but the recipe does call for just a fourth a teaspoon, and then a half a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of pepper. So, just browning this up real good, and then I'm going to drain it, and then I will add the rest of the ingredients. And my rice is over there. It's done cooked. So, yeah. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, we're back, and I'm going to show you how to finish off the rest of this mixture to put into our peppers. So we're going to take this whole can of ragu here, pour it in there, I just poured a little bit of water in there just to get try to get some more of the sauce out of the jar. Okay. I'm going to kind of mix that real good. Okay. Then I have, this is the cup of rice, of the cooked Spanish rice. So add that in here. And I've got this pan off, and I did drain that hamburger meat real good, so I do not have this cooking more. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add the cheese, and this is just your preference. I like it really cheesy, so we're going to add quite a bit of cheese to this. It's probably about a cup of cheese. Alright, so we've got our mixture all good and ready to go. So now all we have to do is get our peppers and fill them to the top with this mixture. So I'll show you what that looks like once I've filled them up and they're ready to go in the oven. Alrighty guys, here's my 2 peppers. I've already stuffed them, and as you can see I stuffed them pretty full. And the one, I think that one will be okay. This one here, like I said, while I was cleaning it with getting the seeds and stuff out, I tore the side. So I went ahead and wrapped both of them in some aluminum foil just to give them a little bit of stability. And hopefully the one that I tore, the stuff won't run all over the place. It won't ooze everywhere. I think it should be okay. But we're going to stick these in a preheated oven at 350, and we're going to bake them for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we're going to take them out. Then we're going to place a piece of that sharp cheddar sliced cheese on top, and we're going to put them back in the oven and just let them sit in there until that cheese melts and gets ooey and gooey on top. Then we'll take them out and they'll be ready to serve. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done and ready to plate up. Okay, there's my garlic shells on the stove, and I did add some more garlic powder to that just to zhuzh it up a little bit. And then here's my potatoes. They're already done. Basically what I did is I took some little red and yellow potatoes and drizzled them with ranch seasoning and fajita seasoning and olive oil, and then I added some bacon in there and fried that all together. And then once it got fried all together, I used what remaining cheese, the shredded cheese that I had left in that package, which wasn't a whole lot, but I went ahead and just put that on top and let it melt on top of the potatoes, and ooh, they're gonna just be so good. So my peppers are gonna be done in about 2 minutes. Like I said, I'll take them out of the oven. I'll add that piece of the slice of cheddar cheese on top, put them back in the oven probably for a minute, maybe just long enough for that cheese to melt on top, and then take them out, and then I'll bring you back and show you what everything looks like all plated up. I just took these out of the oven and I wanted to show you what they look like, just in case they may fall apart when I go to put them on the plate, but ooh, doggies, don't those look good. So I'll be right back and show you what it looks like all plated up. Alrighty guys, here it is all plated up, and oh my goodness, I cannot wait to dig in. It looks so delicious. On the pasta, the shells, what I did on there, it called for 2 cups of water and 1 cup of milk, and then a tablespoon of butter. I just added 2 cups of milk, and I did away with the water completely. But I just added 2 cups of milk because I figured it would make it more creamier. And then of course I added the butter too. And it's really good. It's a little bland tasting, but like I said, I juiced it up with that garlic powder, put some more garlic powder on there, and I think that helped. So I cannot wait to dig in. This is supper tonight. If you decide to try these peppers, let me know in the comments below and let me know what you think about them. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Hey YouTube friends, it is Tuesday, and instead of doing Taco Tuesday, we are going to do a little something different today. We're going to try something new, and it is called Dorito Pie. So I am going to do a little differently than most of the recipes call for. A lot of the recipes call for a can of cream of chicken soup. And instead of doing that, I am going to use some refried beans. And I'm actually going to add in some um, Spanish rice that I had made. Because I had made stuffed peppers the last couple of nights. And I have some leftover Spanish rice that I'd used for those. So I'm going to use that as well as a filling. So, in order to do my version of Dorito pie, and hopefully this turns out because I've never tried this before, you are going to need a pound to a pound and a half of ground beef. You're going to need some taco seasoning. Um, you're going to need a cup of salsa. You're going to need Doritos, of course, and I've got the family size, so hopefully that should be plenty. And then you're going to need some cheese. So that's for the original recipe. And then, like I said, it also calls for that can of cream of chicken soup. But we're not going to use the cream of chicken soup. So I am also going to add to mine some of the refried beans. I've got a great big can back there, and I'm just going to use half of that can. The other half I'll just use as refried beans on the side. And then I've got a container of the um, cooked Spanish rice that was left over that I'm going to use. And then I also have some Old El Paso taco sauce over there on the side that you will see. And I like to add that to my hamburger meat. I like to add the taco seasoning plus the taco sauce as well. I like to use the taco sauce um, instead of using a lot of water. So that's what I like to do. Just my preference. So this is what you need in order to make the Dorito pie, and you need to set your oven at 350. So I am going to go right now and brown up the hamburger meat and add the taco seasoning and the sauce. And I will show you what we do next. Also, I need to make the refried beans. I'm going to go ahead and cook those on the stove. And then I think too, like I said, I may have some of the refried beans on the side. I think I'm also going to make some veggie stir fry on the side and put some fajita seasoning on those and fry them in a skillet with some bacon. I don't know, I've just got a craving for some good old-fashioned veggies tonight. So I think I'm going to do that as well. So, as always, I'll take you along for the ride. Okay, guys, there's my hamburger meat. I browned it real good, then I drained it, then I poured some of that taco sauce on there and the taco seasoning, and I added just a little bit of water. I didn't want to make this real saucy because I'm going to be using the salsa as well, and I don't want my mixture to be too watered down or anything. So that is just simmering in the pot, and there is my refried beans. I just added a little bit of sour cream to make those a little creamier, and I added some cheese as well. So, like I said, I'm just going to use half of that can for the mixture, and the other half will be used for a side. So, I will be back and show you how to put this mixture together and then how to put the pie together. Okay guys, we are ready to put the mixture for the Dorito pie together. So I have the hamburger meat right here. I am going to add, this is the refried beans, and I am basically using what looks equivalent to a can of soup, because that's basically what I'm substituting the cream of chicken soup with, is the refried beans. Okay. Now, so that. Then I have my cup of salsa here. And I like the on the border salsa. So that's the kind of salsa I'm using. Then it calls for about a cup of cheese. So I really didn't measure here. So that looks pretty darn good there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add this rice that I said that I had. Add it all. I may just add that much there. Go ahead and mix this up real well. I have never made this before, so I don't know if I said that earlier or not. But, you know, I'm thinking, how can you go wrong with a Dorito pie? I mean, just the sound of it. Oh, sounds good. You know what? I think we can probably go ahead and add the rest of that rice in there. Certainly not going to hurt. May just have some leftover mixture here. Okay, looks pretty darn good to me. It looks real good and mixed up. So there we go. So then I'm going to come back. I'm going to mash up these Doritos to put in the bottom of the pan. And then we'll basically just layer it with a layer of the sauce. And then we'll put some more Doritos on top of that and layer it again. And then put one final layer of Doritos with some cheese on top. And then it will be ready to put in the oven. So I'll be right back. Alright, we're back, and I have put the first layer of mashed up Doritos at the bottom of this pie pan. I believe this is a 9-inch pie pan here that I'm using. It's a glass one. I did spray it with some non-sticking spray. And then, like I said, I've got my first layer of Doritos. So now we're going to put our first layer of sauce. pretty darn good. Then we're going to take another layer of crushed up Doritos. And I'm just using the nacho cheese Doritos. If you like the other kind of Doritos better, I know there's Cool Ranch. There's like a Flaming Hot. Those of you who like spicy. So, sky's kind of the limit when it comes to kind of Doritos you can use. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands real good because they're kind of yucky. Alrighty. Now we're gonna put this final layer of sauce on here. Looks good. Now we're going to put one final layer of crushed up Doritos on top. You definitely want to get the party size bag of Doritos. It's pretty much going to take this whole bag. There we go. Holy moly, holy. This looks so good. I'm going to wash my hands again. I'm going to have to get in some cheese. The last thing you're going to do, you're going to take your shredded cheese and you're just going to sprinkle it all over the top. I've got a little bit of cheese left over, and I'll add that at the very end when I take it out. Because we're going to put this in the oven. We're going to cover it with some foil. We're going to let it cook for 30 minutes. Then we're going to take it out. I'm going to uncover it. That's when I'll add the rest of the cheese that's in that package. And we're going to cook it for an additional 15 to 20 minutes uncovered until the cheese is nice and golden brown on top. So, I will bring you back and let you see what the finished product looks like. And I am going to now get started on my vegetables, and I may bring you along and show you how I do those as well. Okay guys, here's my bacon fried up for my stir fry. Get ready to take it out of the oven, and then I'm going to add the vegetables to that grease. I'm going to season them with some fajita seasoning and some salt and pepper. And I'll show you what it's going to look like. Okay, guys. I got my veggies in there. And I've just sprinkled them with a fajita sauce, the salt, pepper. And I'm just going to let them sit in this pan and saute for a little bit. Get nice and tender. And I'll show you what they look like when they're all done. Alright guys, I just took the Dorito Pie out of the oven. I let it sit in there for about 15 minutes. So, it's just going to depend on your oven about how long you want to keep it in there. But like I said, until the cheese gets brown on top and stuff. So, I've got it a little browner than I'd liked. But, nonetheless, I know this is going to be good. Oh. So, I'm going to get this all plated up. And I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like. Alright guys, here it is all plated up, and does this not look delicious? I've got my piece of Dorito pie, I got some refried beans, and then my fried veggies with the fajita seasoning, and I am ready to dig in. I may put a dollop of sour cream on top of my pie, and I'll be ready to go. So this is dinner tonight. If you decide to try this Dorito pie, let me know. And let me know how you like it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay guys, this is dinner tonight. It was real simple. I was supposed to have made black beans and soup tonight. Black beans and soup. Just black bean soup. But I needed salsa for that, and I forgot I used my salsa when I made my Dorito pie the other day. So, I was out of salsa, plus I was out of sour cream, so definitely needed sour cream for it too. Didn't feel like walking across the street to get some, so I decided to make do with what I had here, and I had some salad mix that was getting ready to go bad, so I ended up making me a chicken Caesar salad, and all I did was take the salad mix, add some Italian cheese to that, and then I took some of the John Souls pre-cooked chicken, their grilled chicken, and I put it on the stove and fried it in a pan real good, and I topped that on the top with some croutons and some of the yummy Marzetti Caesar salad dressing. And that is that. So that's going to be good. And then I had some of the better cheddar Jacksonville sausages in the refrigerator. And so I made 2 of those on the stove, fried them up real good with a little pat of butter. And then I put some sweet relish, mustard, and I melted some cheese on top of them, and then put them on a hoagie bun, which is a little bit bigger than the actual sausage itself, but that's okay. So, that is dinner tonight. Easy peasy, but I just thought I would share. Hello YouTube friends, it's Michelle, and I am here today with a new recipe. This is called creamy sausage tortellini soup, and I saw a friend on Facebook make this, and she posted her bowl full of what looked like yummy goodness, and so I asked her for the recipe and she shared it, and so I'm going to try it. So the only thing that I left out that the recipe called for was 2 large carrots, because I'm not a real big fan of carrots. They have to be cooked a certain way, and yeah, I don't like them like in soups and stuff like that. So I'm leaving those out, but otherwise I'm going to follow the directions as it says. So what you're going to need is we're going to need some chicken broth. You're going to need 5 cups of that. It calls for a 6-ounce bag of spinach, so I have a 6-ounce bag of baby spinach. It calls for 14-ounce bag of refrigerated tortellini. This is actually a 19-ounce bag, but I'm probably going to go ahead and use the whole bag since I'm not using the carrots. So we're probably just going to use the whole bag. It calls for 1/4 cup of flour. It calls for 1 shallot, 1 small yellow onion, 2 cups of half and half. Then you're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt. It calls for 4 cloves of garlic, but I'm just going to use minced garlic. And I went to Google, or actually asked Siri how much 1 clove of garlic equals to, and it says it equals to 1 teaspoon. So I don't know, 4 teaspoons sounds like a lot of garlic, but we're going to go with it because I do like garlic, so we'll try it. And then the last thing you're going to need is a pound of Italian sausage. I went with the mild. If you want it to have a kick, of course, you could use a hotter sausage. And then something that I don't have pictured here is some cheese to garnish it with once it's done. So I'm probably going to use some Parmesan cheese, some grated Parmesan cheese. And then also what you don't see here, we're going to have some of the Kroger brand twisted breadsticks to go along with this, because I thought that would be good to kind of dip in the soup and stuff. So that's the ingredients you're going to need, and I'm going to take you along and show you how to make this soup. So here we go. Okay, so right now I am browning the Italian sausage in a pan, pretty good stock pan here, and I'm just browning it up. And once it gets browned up, then you're supposed to take a slotted spoon and put it on a paper towel, on a plate, and then you're going to want to get most of the excess grease and stuff out of the meat, but you're going to leave the grease in the pan. And then you're going to add the shallot and the onion to that, and cook it for a few minutes until it gets soft. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I have added the onions and the shallot into that grease that was left in the pan, and you're going to let it saute on medium-high for 5 minutes. So that is what we're doing. And if you use the carrot, you're supposed to add the carrot into this too as well. Again, that was 2 carrots. But like I said in the beginning, I left the carrots out. But if you're going to use carrots, you put those in this mixture here. And I didn't use quite a whole yellow onion either, because I'm not real big on a real heavy onion taste. So I just like it to have a light taste of the onion. So I probably used about between 1/4 and 1/2 of a yellow onion. But that's up to your preference. Like I said, it does call for a whole onion, so just your preference. But I will be back because once this is done sauteing, then we add the garlic and I believe the flour and then we start adding other stuff gradually. So I'll take you along as we go. Okay, I have added in the garlic, and it says to, we don't whisk this. We just stir this for about a minute or two until it starts to get fragrant. And it looks like it's kind of burning, and I don't think it's supposed to be, but I've got it on the right setting, so. Okay. Then it says to whisk in the flour. Let's see. Then you start gradually adding the chicken broth. Okay, we're going to start doing that. Three. Four. There's five. Whisk this. And it says to whisk this till it starts to simmer. Let's see what else it says. Then we reduce the heat to a medium low. So wait until it starts to simmer a little bit. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, guys, let it get to a simmer, and then I turned it down to medium low. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna add your patted out Italian sausage. Like I said, you wanted to make sure you got as much of that grease out of your sausage, so I patted it with some paper towels. Your tortellini. Then you're going to add your seasonings, which was the 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a half a teaspoon of Italian dressing. And I've just added all of that in this little, in this little thing here. So we got that. Then you're going to add in your baby spinach. And then the last thing you're going to add is your 2 cups of half and half. That is what I call a big pot of soup. So then I'm going to stir it real good. And then you're going to let it sit here and simmer for another 5 or so minutes. And then it should be ready to go. So I'll be back to show you what it looks like when it's all done. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, here's the finished product. Doesn't it look so good? OMG. I cannot wait to try this. I'm waiting for the breadsticks to get done, and as soon as I get that, I'll plate it up and I'll show you what it all looks like. Alright folks, here it is, all plated up, and I did try a bite of it, and it is yummy. So I definitely will make this again. You do really have to be careful, because you have to really be on top of it while you're making it, because once you start making it, it's like, it's a big process and it goes rather quickly. So definitely something that I would say when you make it, be prepared to be able to stay on top of it while you're making it and stuff. Because the process goes by so quickly as far as adding ingredients and stuff like that. But, oh, it is so, so delicious. So I cannot wait to get into this bowl. And then I just topped it with some of that Parmesan cheese there. And, yeah, that's dinner. And like I said, I've got the 2 bread twists there from Kroger, and I'm going to dip them into the broth, and oh, it's just a good comfort getter for a war or for a cold night. So that's what it is tonight. So I'm gonna go eat. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Hey guys, tonight we are having shrimp tacos. So right now I am just thawing out my shrimp, doing a quick thaw. This is just some small shrimp that I got at Kroger, or actually Ruler, and it's the Kroger brand, and it's already peeled and deveined, and it's actually already cooked. But I am going to still put it on the stove and warm it up and stuff because I'm going to marinate it and stuff. So once this gets done, you run cold water over the shrimp for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to pat them dry, and then I will show you how I do the marinade. So right now, I'm just prepping the shrimp. I'm just cutting the tails off. And I'm going to finish doing that to all of these, and then I'll be back. Okay, here are the ingredients you're going to need to make for this honey chipotle marinade on your shrimp. And this is so good. Actually, the first time I used this marinade, we grilled our shrimp. We didn't use it for for fish tacos. But then I started making fish tacos, and so I just used the marinade on my shrimp for that as well. It's so good. So what you're going to need is a fourth cup of honey. You're going to need a half a teaspoon of ground cumin and a half a teaspoon of salt. Then you're going to need these. These are chipotle peppers and adobe sauce. And you get these over in like where they sell a lot of the Mexican foods and stuff in your grocery. And you're going to need 1 or 2 peppers out of there. It usually comes with about 4 or 5 in the little can there. But you're going to need 1 or 2 of those finely chopped. And then you're going to use 3 tablespoons of the sauce. And then you're going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then it calls for 3 cloves of garlic, but I'm just going to use minced garlic. And if you ask Siri how much that converts into tablespoons, she'll tell you that 3 cloves of garlic converts into 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic. So that's what I'm going to use there. And then I've already squeezed my limes, and I'm hoping there's enough juice there. But you're supposed to have 2 tablespoons of lime juice. So I'm hoping there's enough there, and I'm hoping there's enough for that. Plus, I'm hoping there's enough to use at the end as well to just like squeeze on my taco when it's done. So I only had 2 limes, so they weren't very big and didn't produce very much juice. Okay, so I'm going to put this marinade together, and then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like, and then tell you what you have to do after that. Okay, I've got all the ingredients measured out. So we're going to put them in a bowl and mix it up real well. And then we're going to throw the shrimp in there and let it marinate for a little bit. So here's my pepper. Again, you're going to need 1 to 2 of those chipotle peppers. I cut up 2. So we got that. Here's my bowl that we're going to put everything in. I've already put my honey in there. Again, you need 1/4 cup of honey. And I've already put the adobe sauce in there for the chipotle peppers. And you put 3 tablespoons of that in there. So that's already in the bowl. So we are going to go ahead and scoop that pepper in there. And these peppers are hot, so they're spicy, very, very spicy. This does not get overwhelmingly spicy or anything. I like stuff with a little bit of spice, but I don't like it so hot that you can't eat it. So, I would say if you're the type that just likes a little bit of spice, I'd only put 1 chipotle pepper in there. If you like somewhat of a little spice, a little kick and stuff here and there, then go ahead and put the 2 in there. But like I said, I'm not one that likes a whole lot of spice, and I go ahead and put 2 in mine. So I've got that. Then in this little container here, we have the minced garlic, and again, like I said, it says to use 3 cloves of garlic, and they have fresh garlic, so we just used a 1.5 tablespoons of minced garlic. Okay, and then my lime juice and my olive oil are both in here, and what was it you needed? Let me make sure. Giving you the correct measurements here. For the lime juice, you needed, let's see, 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, and then you need 2 tablespoons of your olive oil. So I had both of those already in there. So we're going to pour that into there. And then the last thing I have is just my spices, which was, let's see, I had a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. And was that it? Let me check. Yes, that's it. So in there, like I said, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So pour that in there. And that is your marinade. So we're going to mix this up real well. And once you get this all mixed up real well, you're going to reserve 1/4 of it to the side for when your shrimp gets done, and you're going to baste your shrimp again in that leftover marinade. So you're only going to put your shrimp in the marinade for and 3/4 of the marinade. Okay. That looks pretty good. It's very fragrant. You can smell the spices for sure. Alright, so that's what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go and put, like I said, 1/4 of this back to the side. And then I'll come back and show you what it looks like all tossed up in the sauce and stuff and tell you what you have to do next. Alrighty, I put a fourth of that to the side. I just put like a little bit of one of those. Didn't really measure it or anything, but there you go. It's about how much I put to the side. Just enough to baste your shrimp again once it's cooked and stuff. So, here is my shrimp. Right there. And I patted it dry. You want it to be, try to get as much moisture out of it as you can. Now, usually I use uncooked shrimp. I did not realize this was already cooked shrimp. I don't know what I was thinking. So, I mean, that's okay. But I am going to warm it back up on the stove and stuff. So, I mean, because I don't want it cold. But yeah, usually I will use uncooked shrimp. So, what I'm going to do, but I mean, it's the same thing for cooked and uncooked. Then what you're going to do is just drizzle this marinade on top of there. And then you're just going to toss your shrimp around, making sure all of it gets in that marinade and coated well. Okay. I think we are good to go. So, I'm going to put a piece of foil on top of this, and I'm going to set it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to let it sit in there for 30 minutes. Now, it does say not to let it sit too long in this marinade, but it does say to let it sit in there for 30 minutes. So this is not a marinade that you would want to put it in there overnight or anything. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe because it's shrimp. I don't know. But, or because of the chipotle peppers, I don't know. But anyway, I'm just telling you what it says. It says, basically to just let it or let it, you know, ooh and ah over each other for about 30 minutes in the refrigerator. So that's what we're going to do. And then I will come back and show you what is next. Okay, so while we are waiting for that shrimp to marinate, I wanted to show you the sauce that I'm going to use for my shrimp tacos, and also I'm going to fix this side here. Um, it's the Spanish rice by Nor right there. Usually I make Mexican rice, but I'm just going to switch it up a little bit. I like the Mexican rice better than I do the Spanish rice from Nor, but just wanted something different. So I'm going to fix that as well. But as far as the sauce, the first time I had shrimp tacos, somebody else made them, and they made a sauce, and it was kind of like a mayonnaise, uh, sour cream kind of sauce, but I don't know exactly what the ingredients were. So I kind of Googled it, and I really couldn't come up with anything. And so then I thought to myself, I was like, I use a really good sauce on my chicken quesadillas, those knockoff Taco Bell chicken quesadillas. I thought, that's a really good sauce, and it's got sour cream and mayo in it. So I thought, I'll try that. And so I did that the first time that I made them, and I absolutely loved it. So that is the sauce that I now use with my shrimp tacos. So I'm going to show or tell you how to make the sauce, and what you're going to need for that, because I've already made it, because you want to let that sit overnight. So I made this last night and I forgot to film it, so yeah, it is what it is. So for the sauce, you're going to need a half a cup of sour cream. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise. I use Duke's mayonnaise. Um, but of course, you just use, whatever your choice is. Then you're also going to need a tablespoon of chopped jalapenos, and you're going to need a teaspoon of garlic powder. You're going to also need a half a teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon of paprika, a fourth a teaspoon of salt, and just a pinch of cayenne. And that's it. And so all you do is just mix all that together and then put it in something that you can, that's airtight, that you can put in the refrigerator overnight, and you want to let that sit overnight. So, and it's really, really good. But, if you have, like I said, it's just basically, um, like a mayonnaise and uh, sour cream kind of sauce. And, like I said, I don't know what they used the first time I had it. But I do know that it had sour cream and mayonnaise in it. And then, like I said, when I was looking it up, I was coming up with all kinds of different things and stuff. And then I just thought about this one, and I thought, I know that will probably be good. And sure enough, it was. So that's what I ended up using. So, yeah. So, and then basically the only other thing you're going to need is like some coleslaw and stuff. Um, for your tacos, and then of course shells or whatever. So I'm going to use soft shells. So again, I will be back once that marinade has marinated for 30 minutes, and I'll show you what to do, how to prepare the shrimp and stuff. Bye bye. Okay, I just took the shrimp out of the refrigerator. It's really good, and I have melted some of the Chef Chamois garlic butter, which is that raw butter. Melted some of that in the pan. And so now we are just gonna put the shrimp in the pan, and I'll be right back to show you. Alright, there's those delicious looking shrimp. Since they're already cooked, they really don't have to stand here very long. It's just basically to warm them up. So, yeah, it's just going to take a few minutes. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, just took the shrimp off of the stove, and then I put the rest of that chipotle sauce that was left over. I put that on top there. And so now we're just getting ready to make our taco. So basically all I have is cheese sauce, is some shredded cheese, some coleslaw, I have some lime juice there that was left over, and then there's the sauce that I told you about that I'm going to put on there. So we're going to make these and put some rice on our plate, and I will be back to show you what it looks like all plated up. Alright, here we go, guys. I'll plate it up. Ooh, I cannot wait. I've been craving these things for months. Months. Finally gonna get to eat them. So I hope you'll try this recipe. And again, remember I used cooked shrimp, so if you used uncooked shrimp, you'll have to cook it a little longer. But yeah, so good.